Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video we're going to be talking a little bit about delves, one of the new endgame options in the War Within. They actually just unlocked delves on the beta at level 80 for the level 80 characters. You can do them a little bit on your leveling characters, but you can't do them as far as easy access, easy testing until today. So I was going through the delves and kind of getting my own experiences, my own thoughts, but a little bit about delves first if you aren't too familiar with delves. Delves are they're considered world content. Delves are a new form of content that is meant to be solo or with a small group of people. I can't remember what the number is, if it's 3 or 4, but it's meant to be a little bit different than a dungeon, right? And it's meant to be soloable, so it scales depending on how many people you have inside the delve. And so this is very similar to Torghast, right? So a lot of people are going to get a bad taste in their mouth when they hear that. But Torghast, it's very similar vibes to that, except for there's a bunch of different delves. You're not always in the same one. There's like 9 delves or something like that. There's a very high number of delves. And so you're able to, have a little bit of a different experience from time to time. When you go into a delve, you first start at level 1. You'll probably level up your delves a little bit as you level up your character in the War Within. And when you complete tier 1, you unlock tier 2 for every other delve. So you do tier 1 in the new dwarf type area, the earthen area. You unlock tier 2 for all your delves. You complete a tier 2 delve, you unlock tier 3, and so on and so forth. The max gear level for delves is level 8. At that level, you get, I don't know if they confirm the exact number, but it's like Mythic 0 to low end Mythic Plus as the top end gear rewards. And you also get credit in your Great Vault for completing delves down here in the World tab. So you have Raids, Dungeons, and World. They remove the PvP tab of the Vault. They doing things with Conquest to kind of try to mitigate that. But now we have World down here. And now the Vault is just a PvE thing, basically. So World is delves. And again, the loot maxes out at, it's somewhere around Mythic 0 and very low end Mythic Plus is where the delve loot maxes out, and that's level 8, tier 8. Now there are 3 more tiers, 9, 10, and 11. These are meant to be challenge mode tiers essentially for you when you do this, and it's just meant for, I'm sure there's like going to be some cosmetic rewards and things like that for it. But this is just meant for a challenge mode if you enjoy this type of content. And for the people who would enjoy this type of content, if you enjoyed the Shadowlands challenge thing that they added at the very end of Torghast, or at the very end of Shadowlands for Torghast, you'll definitely enjoy this. If you're more of a solo player that doesn't really like group content, you'll probably enjoy this. Open world player, you might enjoy this. And it is kind of just fun in its own way. To find new ways to defeat the same delve, and also as you go into these challenge mode delves, there are different enemies that can spawn, and they can be quite powerful. In fact, for this Underkeep, I actually did level 9, the first level of challenge, quite easily, and expected to be able to do level 10 then, even if it was difficult. And I got into level 10 and actually could not complete level 10. There was 2 mini bosses spawned into this level 10 that, as a rep paladin at least, we're doing half my health in one hit. Now, maybe that was overtuned, or maybe maybe I don't have enough gear, right? Because I'm not actually in full gear that's upgraded and stuff. So maybe I just don't have enough gear. Whatever the case may be, they were absolutely destroying me, and I could not think of any way in which case I was going to defeat these 2 mini bosses, and they had their way with me pretty easily. So I only got to that unlocked. However, there might be another delve that I could do on level 10. Maybe it has a different mini boss or whatever that is more defeatable for a rep paladin than what these were. But yeah. That being said, also, I don't even think I mentioned, you have Brand Bronzebeard with you when you do these delves. He levels up and gets more powerful as you do complete more and more delves. He gains XP, and he'll do things for you. He can DPS for you, he can heal for you, and have different abilities. You'll want to learn what these abilities are, so you can use them effectively, especially when he's healing and he throws something down for you to stand in, right? When he's DPSing, one of the things I know he does is he throws down traps that you want to try to kite things through so that they take damage from the traps. And that's also very interesting as well. And as you can see, there's like a track here as well for your progression through your season 1 of delves. And I believe this is just like cosmetic stuff. I think a lot of it has to do with the mount as well. There's like a special mount that you get for doing a lot of delves, essentially, right? So it's just another form of endgame content, and it is a way. I heard a lot of people say, and I agree with it, that they wish they would carry Torghast over and just not tie it to any power, right? You have to do Torghast to do your legendaries. And so this is kind of a way of doing it. This is very Torghast tech esque, but it's not mandatory. You don't ever have to do it. The gear eye levels, like if you're an end game player, right? If you are a high end Mythic Pluser, a cutting edge raider, heck, even if you're an AOTC raider, you'll never really have to do this because you'll always be able to do. If you do those type of things that I already mentioned, then you're always going to be getting higher eye level stuff than this. I think it's also rewards like certain types of gear, like gear that's meant for doing delves and open world stuff more than like I don't think you can't get the Mythic Plus trinkets or the raid trinkets from doing delves, right? And so there's always going to be that as well. Like they're trying intentionally, if you're an end game player, they're trying to make it so you don't have to do the delves. You don't have to, just like they tried to make it so you don't have to do PvP, right? And same things. It's world down here. It used to be PvP. They're trying to make it so you don't have to do that to be able to enjoy the delves, frankly, right? No matter what kind of player you are. And if you are an open world player, this just gives you a new avenue to actually get Great Vault and to get some cool gear and some high eye level gear. And maybe the higher eye level gear will not be super strong, and the trinket might not be as good as the raid trinket off the last boss of the raid, of course. But it does give you some gear that can, kind of set you up to get into endgame content if you'd like to do that ever. And if not, who cares? You just have your vault gear and your vault stuff. I mentioned Bran is your companion here in season 1. I think they've hinted at your companions changing throughout the season, so we might have a different companion. Maybe it'll be Reno. Maybe it'll be Harrison Jones. Maybe it'll be who knows who it'll be. They can just put anybody in there. They can put somebody from the Explorers League. I have no idea, right? They can put any. I don't know if the Horde has an Explorers League, but they can put a Horde character in here. I don't know who they're planning on doing for the companions, but it's a pretty cool thing. For me, it's very, very cool because it's something I'll do a lot on my alts. I'll run through on my main and complete the challenge modes, right? And any kind of like achievements and stuff for the challenge modes because I like that kind of stuff. Kind of like a not tuned down, but like a not as difficult mage tower is kind of how I might picture it or explain it, right? For like the tier based on the tier 10, tier 11 is probably gonna be pretty rough. And of course, they could always add more tiers as well. If the tiers are not if the tiers aren't difficult enough, they always could add more tiers. And yeah, so I definitely like this kind of content. I'll be doing a lot of my alts. This will be an easy way for me to solo queue for something or solo go into something and get gear on my alts that is usable in case I do want to go into Mythic Plus or something like that. Right now, there's a bit of a bottleneck for that for me as more of a player who doesn't have a ton of time to play alts to casually get gear on my alts and to try to play them for anything. It's a pretty big endeavor. I almost have to have like my guild bring it to Heroic Night or something like that and try to get whatever scraps of gear I can get on my alt that isn't geared at all. And so that doesn't ever feel good. It feels better to just have an avenue. These delves, it's also worth saying it only takes 10 minutes or so to do a delve if you're appropriately geared for it. Like it's going to take longer if you're doing something like a challenge, one of the challenge modes, or you don't have enough eye level of gear. Yeah, you want to wait for your cooldowns on every pull or whatever, right? You don't want to run into something without something up if you can't kill it. But let's say you can kill it at a reasonably fast pace, then you could just run through the whole thing in 5 to 10 minutes. Just depends on what level you're doing. And that, for me, that was the case up until like 7, 8 at just the base eye level here on the beta. So, yeah, overall, I'm very much liking where they're going with this. They clearly put a lot of work into this. It wasn't super buggy at all. So hopefully in 2 months, I would hope with 2 more months that maybe the delves just don't have any bugs or anything. That would be really cool. Hopefully they get the tuning right. And I'm very much looking forward to delves, like I said, especially on my alts. But if you are a casual player or an open world player, depending on how like you classify yourself or whatever, you're going to really, really love delves. And frankly, if you're an endgame player and you're just watching the video to watch the video and you don't care about delves, at least you know you don't have to do them. But you might want to. You might want to go in and do the challenge modes and unlock some cool cosmetic or something like that, or complete the stuff to get your mount for the season or whatever, right? And so yeah, overall I think most people are going to be happy with this, and hopefully they keep iterating on it. Hopefully they can add more delves throughout the expansion as well, right? That would be really cool to add more delves so you have even more uniqueness in your runs. And yeah, I'm just overall very, very positive about this, like a 9 out of 10 or something like that. So that's going to be it for this one. As always, I do ask you to subscribe to the channel. If you already are subscribed to the channel, I did just make a Patreon. You can check that out in the link in the description below. And other than that, everybody, have a good one.